Hey, everyone.
Morning, Kim.
So I saw a handful of things on the agenda. Yeah, so I'm not sure how much time they're going to take up, but I should give us something to chat through today. Paste there's the meeting notes, and I can screen share as well, and we'll give folks another couple of minutes to jump on. And I didn't have some of these folks' email addresses, so I'm not even sure if they're confirmed to present today. I see Varun on the call. I don't see Bill yet. Let's see Joseph. Okay, well, maybe we'll have a short meeting today. Let me follow up from last time. All right, I guess we can get started. Is Bill on the call? Does anyone know Bill Bensing from Red Hat? All right. Does anyone want to intro themselves? It seems like we might have a little bit of extra time. We can start there. Anyone new that wants to say hello or give a quick intro? What scares you about supply chain security at night?
So I'll take this opportunity. My name is Trish Taro. I'm with Dow. I'm recently promoted to, I don't know if it's a good thing, dependency management, product manager. So I'm kind of not technically supply chain, but it
All
plays a big
related.
role. Yeah, it plays a big role in what I'm doing.
Nice, welcome.
This is Christine Abernathy. I'm in the F5, and I might have joined like the latter half of the last meeting, but didn't have a chance to introduce myself. So I'm with the OSPO Open Source Program Office at F5. So I lead that office and just kind of here to look and just learn more.
Nice. Where are you both located?
Well, I'm F5. It's the headquarters are in Seattle, but I'm actually in Tennessee.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
I'm in a little state called Rhode Island.
Oh, nice.
Hi, and I'm Jason Swank. I sort of lurked 2 weeks ago. So I'm from Sonatype. I run Maven Central, which is a package registry for the Java ecosystem.
Oh, nice to meet you, Jason.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
All right, checking for Bill one more time. I don't see Bill. All right, I'm going to move.
I pinged Bill internally just to see if he's around, but I haven't heard back.
Okay. I left a comment here too. So this was a little confusing. It says CNCF donation. We're not the CNCF, so I'm not sure if there was a little bit of confusion or if Bill maybe found the wrong place. So feel free to, if you do reach him, feel free to maybe get some clarification there. Okay, I guess we'll jump down to the hardened runner. Varun, I think I saw you on the call. Do you want to take the next
Yeah, sure. And just to introduce myself, I'm Varun, and I'm the founder of Step Security. And before that, I was at Microsoft for 15 years. Um, so let me just go ahead and share my screen. When I do that, it says this will stop other screen sharing. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead and take it over. While you're setting that up too, I'll just make a note. There's a bunch of different projects on the agenda today. I believe that the OpenSSF and the TAC, I can't make the TAC meetings due to the time conflict for me, but I think we're still even working through on the foundation side, more like organization and structure around the working groups. And so I'm not sure, maybe someone on the call actually knows some of the latest around what's going on in terms of new projects and how that stuff is shaping up. David, do you have an update there?
I normally I would, but for personal reasons, I've had to be a little less connected recently.
Okay.
So others may be the better source. Jock?
Yeah, there is a lot of work going on around TAC oversight of groups. There is a big push from TAC to ensure that everybody has dotted their I's and crossed their T's in terms of the paperwork. You may have seen issues in the repo. I'm not sure if they got to this one, asking for a charter, any shared drives you have, getting the email mailing lists sorted out is going to be another thing. So there's a lot of work going on. There's also sort of work around governance questions to make sure that everything is smooth and laid out. Does that help?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I think we're happy to see the demo today, and this will be recorded, so we can always reference it back later, but just kind of know that things are still a little bit up in the air or being settled now, I guess is the right way to put it on the foundation level. So all right, anyway, Varun, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I've actually demoed this a couple of times in different OSSF meetings, although this is the first time I'm attending the this working group meeting. So for some of you, it might actually be a repeat. So just to give a background on why this has been created. So what I'm going to demo is an agent, security agent for the GitHub hosted runner. And the reason behind creating this was just looking at some of the past incidents and what were those compromised dependencies and tools doing. So as an example, in the dependency confusion, there was DNS exfiltration that was used to exfiltrate some metadata about the build server. In the CodeCoff breach, there was again exfiltration of credentials from hundreds, if not thousands of build servers, and it was not detected for a couple of months. And so that's the reasoning behind building this agent for the build server in order to improve monitoring. And what I'll do today is to give a quick demo of a couple of scenarios. So the first one, in fact, is this few NPM packages, not few, quite a lot of them that were released into the public registry a few days back. And there was this list that was in fact published on the OSSF Slack. And so in here, some of them have been added to the package.json file. And in the workflow, this is how one can add this agent. It gets installed using a GitHub action, so Step Security Hardened Runner, and then you can set allowed endpoints. In this case, since it's only going to download code and download dependencies, those two have been added, and then it does an npm install. And then when this runs, it gets it downloads the agent, installs it in the pre-step. And then, as you can see here, this is where the outbound traffic from these malicious packages has been detected. So in this first case, it's a very long domain name, but this was actually a DNS exfiltration. So there's a DNS.lookup happening in the package. and then this one is an actual connection. So this is sort of one of the scenarios for which it's been built, that if there's a compromised dependency that generally tends to make outbound calls, then it can detect that. So I'll just pause for and let me know if you have any questions before I move to the second scenario. Okay, so
Can you talk a little bit about how the domain of allowed endpoints is configured? And since that's
yeah,
one of many of the things we're specifically complaining about in this example.
so in this example, it was just set to two of these allowed domains, github.com and registry.npm.js. So anything other than this that gets called during the job, it's going to block the DNS resolution of it. And if it's making a direct call to an IP address, in fact, in the case of the CodeCov breach, in the actual scenario, it was making a direct call to an IP address, so it's going to block that as well, and show that call to this direct IP address was blocked. So essentially, the allowed endpoints are set per job. So the next one is, and this is actually the scorecard the project recently started using Harden Runner, and this is currently in the audit mode. So when you actually set it up, the first step would typically be to run it in audit mode unless you already know the outbound endpoints. And so in here, let's see, build. So what I want to show here is that another of the detections is to detect a source code file overwrite, and in this case, it's a false positive, but the intent is that for a release build, ideally the source code shouldn't really be modified on the build server. So in this case, it monitors each file write, which if it is a source code, it has a list of extensions associated with source files. Then, if one of them has been overwritten, sort of gives an annotation. So in this case, this file is downloaded from the repository. So that's the first write. And then later on in the workflow, mockgen is run and that, overwrites it. So it's sort of giving an annotation. So this is the other scenario. And going back to the, the question about how do you set endpoints. So when you click on this insights link, it actually gives this sort of a process monitor view of what happened during the build, what process was called and what outbound call was made. And then for each job, you get this policy, which tells you these were the endpoints called. And if they look fine, then you can just sort of copy this and put it back in the job. So this is listed for each of the different jobs that are called, that are run. But yeah, that was all for the demo, and love to get feedback, or any other questions.
Is there any way this would be upstreamed to, I mean, these features seem like they ought to be part of the existing runner. To me, not speaking for GitHub, just speaking as a person who's like, I want everything. I want a pony.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I'll have to reach out and see if it can be added as part of the default VM. Yeah.
Cool, thanks for the demo. Any other questions for Varun? Matt says very cool idea in the chat, just see if you caught that. I don't see any other. Okay, Bill can't make it.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think once we know a little bit more about any new processes that might come down through the tax.
And I know we're kind of a little confused about the sort of hands-on keyboard steps we need to take to make sure that the GitHub org we have falls under OpenSSF. I know that it's one of those things where also it's not like just a single GitHub repo, because we're also trying to show off, hey, here's what a bad example looks like, and we don't want some of that to literally exist under OSSF. And we want to show like, hey, here's what happens when you put bad permissions and those sorts of things that are all part of that project. And so we're just sort of curious what that sort of takes, and then also like moving forward, is there governance around stuff like weekly meetings for that project and so on and so forth? Like, how do we get all set up in there?
May I jump in?
Yeah.
So as far as the technical hands-on keyboard, how to get in, what I'd suggest is first contact Jory Burson. I'll post the email, and if she struggles, dump it on me. I've been I think some of you are aware, I've been more or less not very available the last couple weeks, but that's due some personal issues. But I am back. So so basically Jory and then me, and we'll make things happen. Hello, cat. As far as we've actually already handled once hey, I've got so many repos, I need a different organization. There's a huge collection of sample code that's vulnerable and not vulnerable for testing static tools. So we created a separate org for that. So that is totally doable. So reach out, talk to Jory, then me. We'll try to make things happen. Okay.
Cool. Thanks. And then would that also be would Jory also be able to handle stuff like setting up, let's say, meetings, what regular meetings for the project or whatever that fall under sort of OpenSSF governance? Because obviously we don't want to have any sort of meetings that are private or
Yeah,
Right,
Jory can
right.
get stuff on the public calendar.
Yeah,
Okay.
she can get stuff on the calendar. She can set up the email. So that's absolutely what she that is one of her key roles here. So yes. Now, just as a quick note, a number of working groups have subgroups within them that have their own meetings. Whether or not you need it, it kind of depends on on what you're up to. So there's no requirement that every subgroup have its own separate mailing list and Slack channel and such. But if you need it, then that's great. Let's do it. But I also, if you talk and want to discuss once a year, it might be make more sense just within this working group. So up to you and this group.
Cool. Thanks.
Another very important question. Is there a logo yet, Michael?
Currently no, but except I guess we're anybody who's good at that sort of thing.
For ideas. All right, good to know. Cool. That is all we have on the agenda today. Does anyone else have anything ad hoc they want to discuss quick with the group? Or are we going to cut this meeting really short?
You can cut it short, but before you do, anybody who needs Jory or my emails, just snag. I posted in the chat. Please snag.
Going once, going twice. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining and have a good rest of your day. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks all. Bye-bye. Thanks. Bye.